Are bots to blame for the Catherine Princess of Wales conspiracy theories on social media? It was on Good Morning Britain. Senior government figures are said to believe. There's a lot of keywords here that say, we don't actually know. Reportedly, said to believe. What are people sourcing for this? The Telegraph. We are going to break this down in a second, but first I want to show you something. If you've watched or read my Roman Empire series, you know that I have a little bit of problem with the reporting and sources that are used for these fear-mongering pieces. One of my problems is the reliance on far-right think tanks as research and sourcing, which is why when I read this and I saw it came from the Telegraph, I said, okay. An interesting thing happened with the Telegraph a few years ago. In 2016, this commentary was published in the Telegraph by Malcolm Rifkind. Sir Malcolm is a British politician. He worked under Margaret Thatcher's government and John Major. This piece, he didn't write it. It's not entirely uncommon to have public figures or celebrities have op-eds written for them. Here's the problem in this situation. This one was written by the HJS, or the Henry Jackson Society, which is a right-wing think tank. This is from my Substack. According to The Times, HJS was being paid about £10,000 a month by Japan to wage a propaganda campaign against China. Malcolm said that he was not made aware of the HJS's financial relationship with the Japanese embassy, adding that the HJS, quote, ought to have informed me of that relationship when they asked me to support the article they provided. It would have been preferable if they had, end quote. No shit. The Telegraph has pretty clear views on how they feel about China. Today, while I was recording this video, there was a news conference on alleged hacking by China. Ian Duncan Smith, MPs won't be bullied into silence by China. To be very clear, I'm not making a pro or anti argument here. What I am questioning is the motivations. The sourcing for this piece is the British government. Senior government figures fear that hostile states are behind the spread of wild conspiracy theories and online rumors surrounding the princess's health, end quote. It emerged over the weekend that there was a growing concern in Whitehall that hostile state actors could be involved in some of the frenzy online. Here's the kicker. Quote, it comes as Downing Street is preparing to announce fresh sanctions on China as soon as Monday after a wave of state-backed cyber attacks against a group of senior MPs and peers. By the way, there's a hyperlink to that cyber attack article in which it says, quote, whether any of the British institutions were hacked has not been confirmed. So yeah, that sentence could have been clearer. It's very convenient for government officials to be pushing this narrative behind the scenes when they're trying to go tougher on China. This also allows the government to be seen as protecting the princess. And I would not be surprised if this came up later as a hit on the Labour Party for not protecting Britain's princess. This woman is being used as a pawn for bigger things. They know emotions are heightened and people have a very strong response to everything that has happened. I understand the willingness that these papers depend on for people to believe this wholeheartedly without looking into the facts, because this is a thing, and in America, we experienced it. Even though we know President Putin preferred a President Trump, and that there were Russian troll farms that were in the mix spreading disinformation on social media, they also needed a fertile ground to spread those conspiracies, which exists because we have a media literacy issue worldwide. We do not have enough proof yet that this was foreign interference. But it does, in my opinion, get us further and further from the root cause of all of this. Mismanagement by Kensington Palace. I think a good argument against the idea that this was solely social media driven is what happened with King Charles. There was obviously an uptick in conversation when he announced that he was going into hospital and when his cancer diagnosis was announced. But other than that, it has severely dropped off. It's not because Charles is more popular on social media than Catherine. The variable is how each of their PR teams handled the health crises, which is why I also question this theory that people just wanted to invade Catherine's privacy and expose everything she's going through, etc. Because wouldn't the same hold true for Charles? We still don't know how serious his situation is. We don't even know the type or stage of cancer. Seeing him has allowed the public to know that he's okay, which I think provides some support to the idea that a majority of people on social media were truly concerned because of the way Kensington Palace was handling this. Not Kate's fault. The fault of the team that pushed her out there and used her as cover for their own missteps. And while it would be easy to believe, it's just foreign entities, which takes some of the blame off of regular people, takes blame off of Kensington Palace. We have to be really careful. And I'm not out here saying all media is distrustful. But what I am saying is, if you've distrusted the media up to this point, Why would you believe the Telegraph now? And based on that sourcing?